So, in our modern society, we have removed the spirituality from everyday to day tasks, right? And not just that, but in every little or massive thing that we do on a day to day basis has essentially lost this spiritual vitality that really made life feel like you were living. You remember when you were a kid, the way everything felt. That is what I'm talking about. And so, you get up, you go to work, you're so focused on material existence, right? You're focused on money, your food, just distracting yourself even from your work. You're dreading your going back to work on Monday after Sunday. I've seen those memes a lot recently, but there was a book I read on Shintoism recently on my getting ready for my trip to Japan. I wanted to read a little bit about the culture, and I would like to explore that a little further with you all and see if this helps you, right? So I'll be at work and I'll be like staring at trees and whatnot. And when I heard this idea in Shintoism, which is called the kami, it really helped kind of let me see things from a deeper viewpoint. But anyways, so yes, there is a Japanese philosophy called Shintoism. Although it's technically a religion, but I don't like throwing that word around too much just because I feel like, or religion is a very westernized word and it's not appropriate to treat it with everything. Exactly. And I don't even think people in Shintoism would really view it as a religion anyway. But, anyways, Shintoism is like the indigenous religion of Japan. It's a very animistic, very what I thought was interesting was decentralized. Originally, there wasn't a big like not very Catholic, like there was like a big pope or anything. They actually it was mostly a tribal clan based thing. It was up to the people within the community to organize it, take care of it, etc., etc. But anyway, within Shintoism, there's this idea of the kami, Kami, and this would be like the spirit of a tree, and then there could be spirit of the forest. And what I think this does mentally is it helps you kind of see a higher meaning in things rather than just seeing everything in very scientific terms and very atomistic. Everything's all this molecule bouncing off of this one, or this proton and neutron and electron are all interconnected. I know I'm not describing it properly. I did take a biology class. I've done the chemistry. All right, I know I'm not the best, but you see the point. The oh crap, now I'm stuck on it. Anyway, the pull that they have, the gravitational pull they have towards each other, the attraction. My gosh, I can't believe I forgot that word. But anyways, we tend to view things here in the West very atomistically, very individualistically, everything very materially. Whereas I think this idea of focusing on the whole rather than the destructive atom of everything can really help us see things a little bit deeper than they actually are. You see things from the bigger picture, right? And on top of that, I think that spiritualizing it or saying that it's like a spirit or a god gives that thing life, right? So the forest itself has its own life, its own individual power. Now, I'm not Shintoistic. I'm not going to push that, and I don't even think if you live in or outside of Japan, you can even pursue Shintoism unless you are Japanese. From what I understand, it's a very ethnic religion. It's not something you can just be like, oh yeah, I'll start doing a Shinto practice every day. Like, yeah, it doesn't really work that way. But it's more so the higher concept. You can, I'm sure if you look deep enough in Christianity, you can kind of see this. There's holy spots, there's holy sites, there's holy sacred areas. This idea of sacredity, or things that have a higher meaning or higher purpose than just their base material. And when I was at work, I was kind of using this idea to discuss this in, like, let's say you were driving, you pull up by a stop sign, you see the stop sign, all you're seeing is the paint. However, there's the higher meaning given to it by like the organization of the paint that relates to the idea of stopping. That higher meaning in the material that is there. Now, I understand this is controversial, whether or not this is all in your head or if there's an actual spiritual connection, whether or not it's a platonic realm. That's not what I'm talking about. I think I'm just saying in general, I think the idea of things having a higher purpose can help you change your perspective, because I think we are here in the West, we're starting to get bogged down, we're getting burnt out, and this would prevent being burnt out massively, because now everything has a higher purpose than it usually did, as opposed to just some being slopped around. Okay? And yeah, it reorients you on a personal level. It helps pick you up off your feet and guide you, right? There's a lot less of a, oh my gosh, I have to get up and get my money for the day. A lot of that's gone. You start to see, okay, what am I working towards? What's my goals? And hopefully that is also less materialistic, because if you're just fighting for money, you're not fighting for anything, man. You know, you have no existence in something that is so fickle as money, right? But anyways, wrap this up. Yeah, we need to stop degrading things down to a very base material point of view, and I think seeing the bigger picture for things, re-spiritualizing, re-enchanting things, bringing sacredity back to things. And I think through the Shinto idea of kami is a great example. And why I didn't open up with Shinto is because why I use Shinto rather than a lot of like Western ideas is because I think when you just come out hitting with Western ideas, people tend not to listen. So I think, yeah, Shinto, the idea of kami in Shinto is more so an example to see that, yes, you can see in other cultures that they also have this idea, right? So I would like to explore this a little further, and maybe we could do this again. Anyways, comment, like, and subscribe, and thank you for listening.